Weki kusile malanga lamahle sandvisela senemukela ehlelweni kusile breakfast show kunguye lesibili sicolise kakhulu malanga lamahle kuphuta kungena khona ehlelweni nganxa technical issues lesinawo lapha emsakatweni wethombe at the moment, but currently they've been fixed. So siyathemba sindawufokota kakhulu ukuhlasana nathi elihlelweni kusile breakfast show njengoba lo muhla nayikabanca insimbi yesikhombisa tabe sinabo belibandla lelibuke umthelo wamabona kude, but usikhumbuta phela sengabe vele ekakhulu kade eminyakeni imali lophelile tisebente kanjani ntona leto timali moving forward babuke sikintiphi indlela labafuna ukisebenzisa to improve lona lehlangothi lokubutha wona umthelo wamabona kude lapha eVenda Eswatini. Kanti saphinde sibuke yona indzaba yakamhlaba hlangane njengoba ikakhulu kade inhlangano yakamhlaba yetempilo iWorld Health Organization njengoba njalo ngelilanga isinika wona ama updates singabe emhlaba wonke vele emave emhlaba nasikhuluma ngato indzaba temkhuhlane iCovid-19 sime kuphi malanga lamahle singabe sicitha isikhathi lesinenga siyetitolo kafishana sibuya netindzaba devute ekucalata lo mhla ekseni kusile. Good morning.
Why should we pay our TV license?
The content on our local television is actually more up to date. The industry is enhanced.
It is a criminal offense not to pay your TV license and attracts a fine of 500 emalangeni or 6 months imprisonment.
And the industry is definitely blooming, ladies and gentlemen. So that's what we have for you. But we'll be right back just after the break and we'll give you more of Miss V.
Pay my TV license. That's why I can enjoy the benefits of an enhanced industry and keep track with recent transformation.
Mommy, who pays for a TV license and what are they paying for?
The owners of TV set and gadget with a tuner like DVD set have to pay.
Pay your TV license at NetBank with the details provided on screen. Or use your cell phone via the mobile money Pay. You could also visit your nearest post office and pay there. Pay your TV license via Eswatini mobile imali. Any TV device retailer can purchase a license to trade. Pay your TV license and enhance the industry.
Malanga lamahle solo sehlelweni kusile breakfast show kunguye lesibili kulesikhathi manje sefula tindzaba tecalata lo mhla ekseni. Indvuna itekuvakasha netindzaba temvelo Moses Vilakati ithi bamvu labagembulako ngalokwecile badzinga kusitwa ekutheni bakuyekele lokho. Indvuna ithi umthetho losakhanganywa ukugembula iGaming Control Bill number 17 of 2019 utawuqinisekisa ukuthi bamvu labagembulako ngalokwecile bayasitakala. Kanti indvuna ikusho lokho ngesikhathi ivula umhlangano wesikolo wetimbunga ngalomthetho losakhanganywa.
Lo mthetho losakhanganywa wetekugembula the Gaming Control Bill of 2019 utawumisa kusebenta kwemithetho lemine lebuke kusebenta kwetindzaba tekugembula lapha eVenda. Le mithetho yi-Lotteries Act 1963, Licensing of Bookmakers and Taxation Act 1970, Casino Act 1963 kanye nesehluko sekucala nesesibili se-Crimes Act 1889. Indvuna yetekuvakasha netemvelo Moses Vilakati ithi le mitsetfo lekhona yetekugembula midzala kanzi nelive lilahlekelwa nayimali ngekungabi nemitsetfo lemisha. Indvuna ithi lokhu kungobe bantfu lapha eVenda bagembula ngetebuchwephesha kulamanye emave bese kude lokusalela hulumende. Indvuna ithi lo mthetho losakhanganywa utawubuka nendzaba yekusita lababese bangena umkhono nesiphanga kuto tindzaba tekugembula bangasakhoni nekuyekela.
Kusenziwa le gambling lokho kugembula kuphindze kube nalesinye tinkinga tekuthi kukhona labagcina seveli bangene la mithanjeni lento umuntu ukuthi nakuphela inyanga abuyele ekhaya ana zero atelutho ngoba sokuhlala legembuleni. So ke sibuka ke lokho ukuthi ke kufuna ukuthi kwenziwe njani kuze kusitakale labo bantu labo ngoba bafuna kusitwa.
Sihlalo welikomiti lelibuke kusebenta kwelitiko letekuvakasha endlini yabayisikhulu Isaac Makakula uthi lo mthetho utawubukela wonke.
Funa nakukhulunywa ngegembula kunemithetho yakhona ngesisawu sikhanyiseleke. Ngibantu ongagembule i-fair play iba njani kuteni kuchithana lapha nalapha status mhlambe sitakale ngato.
Umthetho utawuphinze wakhe nelibandla lelitawengamela tona tindzaba tekugembula lapha eveni. Etindzabeni Eswatini TV kubika Themkosi Mavimbela namsimisi Lushaba kanye naMuzi Mkhonda Kalobamba.
Likomiti lelibuke kusebenta kwetimali tembuso ePhalamende likhuthaza litiko letemisebenti lemikhulu nekutfutsa kutsi alungise imigwaco yakuleli leminyenti lengekho esimeni lesikahle. Likomiti likusho lokhu ngesikhathi lelitiko livele embikwalo.
Likomiti libuke kusebenta kwetimali tembuso ePhalamende likhatsatekile kutsi imigwaco leminyenti yakuleli solo ayikho esimeni lesingiso. Lamalunga athi lelitiko litfole indlela lengiyo letakwenta kutsi lemigwaco ihlalise esimeni lesihle.
Lemigwaco ngeyibaso luyayibala but akawubali lo siphofanele Nsalichi o Msobo Maloma hlathi khulu kuthi ngabe ukumapha ama plans akhe ukuthi kuyawe kwendeke khona sibanifakele intila khona.
Indzaba nema-bridge kademejwe alloys athatha isikhathi kwalungiswa ngathi imigwaco lebhizi angibekisa nje into specific naleli lapha ebuka. I don't know why it's taking so long.
Angathi controlling officer angasita njani kule migwaco lemncane. Ukhuluma ngokugrader lokunye la grading kwalomgwaqo bagrader lo mgwaqo bangafaki amapontsha kuphuma lamanzi.
Le grader thina kuthiwa yilambi grader so yo grader le kodwene ebhuku kufanele udlala ngayo le mali ngoba nalina letulu awuyodlala enkulu kuyawasha.
Baplanela omkhulu etiko letemisebenti lemkhulu nekutfutsa Khangeziwe Mabuza uthi emetameni kuthi imigwaco yakuleli ihlalise esimeni lesingiso. Lelitiko selitawufaka litiyela i-alter pave single layer lohlobo lokufaka litiyela lelingemashumi kuphakama.
Sizama lokubuka ukuthi ngikuphi lokhu cost effective ukuthi sifake le mali kule tiyela nekuthi siqhubeke lokuggrader kufike kuwasheke kuye embili. Yes, ku-introduce lenye element ye-maintenance emva kwesikhashana ukuthi sikawukhona yini ukumaintaina. Sikubukile konke lokho sisakhulumisana nawo.
Lo mabhalane uthi imigwaco leminye seyivele iqalile kulungiswa. Lokungileyo lesemakhaya naleyo leyakhiwe kusetshenziswa litiya lebuchwepheshe iProbase kanye naleyo lemkhulu kanti lemsebenzi ibheke ukuthi iqale kuphela kusuka ngenyanga yengci kuya ngenyanga yengongoni kulomnyaka losetulu. Inkampani yakaRhodes kanye neInyathi banika imisebenzi yekulungisela imigwaco. Inye inkampani ilungisa tifundza letimbili. Etindzabeni Eswatini TV kubika Fortune Dlangamandla kunabawethu sithole sePhalamende.
Kuphakelwa kwemali lencane kunaleyo lesuke icelwa kude kwenteke imisebenzi lemikhulu lokufaka ikhathi kwakhiwa kwemigwaco ngiko lokwenta ukuthi uhulumende agcine satikhanza sekabhadala imali lenyenti kunaleyo lotawentiwa nguye lo msebenzi. Lokhu kuvetwe ngabhalane lomkhulu etiko letemisebenzi lemikhulu nekutfutsa Khangeziwe Mabuza ngesikhathi lelitiko livele embiko likomiti lelibuke kusebenta kwetimali tembuso ePhalamende.
Ikomiti libuke kusebenta kwetimali tembuso ePhalamende likhatsatekile kutsi imigwaco leminyenti yakuleli solo ayikho esimeni lesingiso. Lamalunga athi lelitiko litfole indlela lengiyo letakwenta kutsi lemigwaco ihlalise esimeni lesihle.
Lemigwaco ngeyibaso luyayibala but akawubali lo siphofanele Nsalichi o Msobo maloma hlathi khulu kuthi ngabe kukumaphi ama-plans akhe ukuthi kuyawube kwendeke khona sibanifakele intila khona
indzaba yema-bridge kadamejwe nge-alloys athatha isikhathi kuwalungisa ngathi kunemigwaqo lebhishi angibekise nje into specific naleli lapha ebuka. I don't know why it's taking so long ngathi
angathi controlling officer angasita njani kule migwaqo lemncane ukhuluma ngokugrada lokunye la grading kwalomgwaqo bagrada lo mgwaqo bangafaki amapontsha kuphuma lamanzi
grader thina kuthiwa yilambi grader so yograder lethu kuvele ebhuku kufanele ukuthi udlala ngayo le mali ngoba nalina letulu qhamuke umdlalo enkulu kuyawasha.
Sebentle emkhulu nekufutha khangeziwe mabuza uthi emetameni ukuthi imigwaqo yakuleli ihlale sesimeni lesingiso leli tiko selitawufaka litiyela i-alter pave single layer lohlobo lokufaka litiyela leli-20 kuphakama.
Sizama lokubuka ukuthi ngikuphi lokhu cost effective ukuthi sifake le mali kule tiyela nekuthi siqhubeke lokugrade kufike kuwasheke kuye embili. Yes, ku-introduce lenye element ye-maintenance emva kwesikhashana ukuthi sitawukhona ngoku-maintaina sikuvukile konke lokho sisakhulumisana nabo.
Lo mabhalane uthi imigwaqo leminye seyivele iqalile kulungiswa lokungileyo lesemakhaya naleyo leyakhiwe kusetshenziswa litiya lebuchwepheshe i-ProBase kanye naleyo lemkhulu kanti lemsebenzi ibhekeke ukuthi iqale kuphela kusuka ngenyanga yengci kuya ngenyanga yengongoni kulomnyaka losetulu. Inkampani yaka-Roads kanye ne-Inyathi banikwa imisebenzi yekulungisa la imigwaqo. Inye inkampani ilungisa tifundza letimbili etindzabeni Eswatini TV kubika Fortune Dlangamandla kunabawethu sithole sephalamende.
Kuphakelwa kwemali lencane kunaleyo lesuke icelwe kude kwendeke umsebenzi lethide ikakhulukazi imisebenzi lemikhulu lokufaka ekhathi kwakhiwa kwemigwaqo yelive ngiko lokwenda ukuthi uhulumende agcina sekade ikhanza sekabhadala imali lenyenti kunaleyo lomsebenzi botawendiwa ngayo kanti lokuvetwe kumabhalane lomkhulu etiko letemisebenzi lemikhulu nekutfutha khangezwe mabuza ngesikhathi letiko livele embiko likomiti lelibuke kusebenta kwetimali tembuso ephalamende.
Vele eminyakeni lophelile ngesikhathi leli tiko livele embiko likomiti lelibuke kusebenta kwetimali tembuso ephalamende lokungqubutana kwaleli tiko kanye nakhumalo kwabanga kuvalwa kwelibhuku lekusebenta laligalaji njengalokunyalo selingephansi kwaleli tiko ngesikhathi litiko livele embiko likomiti lelibuke kusebenta kwetimali tembuso ephalamende ilunga lephalamende lenkundla semtfonganeni Roy von Rakis lithanze kwati ukuthi kuliciniso yini ukuthi kude kusebenzisana lokuhle emkhathesini kwematiko kahulumende kanye nemphathi weligalaji lahulumende Washington Khumalo mabuza uthi ivumile letinsolo wathi nanabo bangileli tiko bethe kusebenzisana lokuhle nakhumalo
kusesekhona lo mzoliswano lokhona ngoba na-controlling officer uyambhalela GTM angaphenduleke lo mzoliswano sicela loku-acknowledge lokuthi usesekhona kodwa nje siyathemba lokuthi kutawuhamba nema-ministries kuliqiniso bayabhala sikutholile-ke tshelo ukuthi vele kuba khona lokuthi singabambiseki.
Mabuza uchazele emalunga leli komiti nangetindlela letinsha letikhona lengathi uhulumende ahlose ekucedza kwebiwa kwemali yembuso.
So amikise ka-Attorney General bese uyasinikeza le authority sesiwavukise cabinet ifike i-cabinet bese uyasinikeza le sanction kuthi sesingasayini. So nyalo kude vele i-contract noma ngabe incane yethenga ema-newspaper lawa daily sesivele sihambe nje leyo route before sithemba so nayo one of the control measures.
Khumalo bekathi angekho ephalamende kuthi iphendulela kuleti insolo tingasebenzisani kahle nematiko ahulumende etindzabeni Eswatini TV kubika Fortune Dlangamandla kunabawethu sithole sephalamende.
Sesingena etindzabeni temidlalo. Baceceshi bemidlalo werugby kuleli Steve Reynolds uthi kumgcoka kufundisa abaceceshi ngemidlalo werugby berugby 7 njengaloku ihlukile kunaleyo letayelekile imidlalo yerugby.
Uhulumende nakavumela umdlalo werugby ukuthi songabuya udlaliswa imidlalo yawo lebewumiswe ngomkhuhlane we-COVID-19 wavetla ukuthi le mdlalo kutoba nguloyo lodlalo abadlali abasikhombisa ecembini lobatiwa ngele rugby 7 lo mdlalo ke ubengasiwo umdlalo lodlalwa kakhulu kuleli njalo kubaye badlali lo lodlalo abadlali abalishumi nesihlanu lenhlangano erugby kuleli ke bese ibona kungcono ukuthi ifundise abaqeqeshi bayo ngalomdlalo ukuthi kambe vele lo mdlalo udlalwa kanjani. Steve Reynolds longuye loqeqesha bona abaqeqeshi uchaza kabanti ngalemdlalo.
Rugby sevens is primarily a non-contact sport. Okay, it's a totally different game to 15s.
Steve uthi umdlalo werugby 7 ngumdlalo lapho khona kungathintfana kakhulu lokusho ukuthi wehlukile kuloyo lotayelekile ngetindlela letiningi kufaka ekhathi indlela lodlala ngayo kanye nemacebo lasebenziswa ngibo baqeqeshi ehlukile ngakho ke ngiko babone kumcoka ukuthi bafundise labaqeqeshi ngalolu shintsho leselikhona kulona mdlalo.
Coaches too, this change in style, this change in philosophy as to how to play rugby sevens.
Steve uphethe ngako ukuthi uyajabula ngetinombolo abaqeqeshi lebabe ingcenye lemidlalo lapho khona elangeni lecala babe nge-20 kanti nabasachubeka nako ukufundisa bayethemba ukuthi leto tinombolo titochubeka tikhule njengalokho bafisile ukuthi tikhule tinombolo abaqeqeshi kanye nalomdlalo we-rugby utawube senaye uyakhula. Lobekela umsakazo weSwatini TV temidlalo ngiphathizwe Msibi eMbabane.
Mala ngelamahle sifika kanjalo kwamaphethelweni adodini sabathi kucala talo mhla ekseni kulesikhathi samanje siya editolo sibe siyagcibeka nalo luhlelo kusile. Good morning.
Bosimelana nine labakhulu ngiyacela bompembe nilamule indzaba yesikhwama samkhulu asikubulali lokumfana kwamajaha
ine sebenzile singaka.
The pillar of the family falls, leaving behind a divine legacy.
Abaphansi sebamkhombile kufanele kuthatha isikhwama samkhulu simelana.
Now the question is, who among the family members will take it over?
Kusobala ukuthi lesikhwama ngesakho.
Cha mama, basengangikhombi laba phasi.
Oh, nayi imihlolo nemambalo yasangana ufumele emadimoni ukuthi adlale ngemfana ethu.
Instead of being inherited, it brings nothing other than sadness, anger,
Angiyoze lesangoma.
frustrations, all in one drama. Simanga.
It is important every now and then to check, am I still in the receiving hand of God, or am I in the receiving hand of the lies from the enemy?
Salvation is free because Christ paid for everything, and that's true. But discipleship will cost you everything.
Love each other as if your life depends on it.
As a canvas reflects the nature of a personality or an artist, so creation teaches us about who God is.
We are made great by becoming small. We are exalted when we're humble.
Malanga lamahle welcome back solo sikulolu hlelo kusile breakfast show kunguye lesibili kulesikhathi manje sitawuba indvuna yalapha indvuna itempilo lapha eveni laseSwatini lizinkosi njengoba ifulela yona iWHO Health Assembly kuthi ngabe nasikhuluma ngelivela laseSwatini ngetindzaba temkhuhlane iCovid-19 sime kanjani asivele siyive indvuna.
Excellencies, dear colleagues and friends, the Kingdom of Eswatini has not been spared by the COVID-19 pandemic and experienced a severe second wave that resulted in a drastic increase of cases and deaths compared to the first wave. The country has recorded 1,855 cases per 100,000 people and 67 deaths per 100,000 people. Currently, we are seeing very low numbers. Eswatini is on alert and using achievements and lessons learned to strengthen health systems to respond better in the event of the third wave. Our achievements include a ground-up construction of a 100-bed COVID-19 facility and expansion of clinical spaces in the country. The establishment of a COVID-19 testing laboratory and oxygen generation plants have ensured self-sufficiency for these needs. We have learned that we need to significantly increase investment in epidemic preparedness finances, human resource equipment, medication, and capacity building, especially for critical care skills, to minimize delays in the response. Public health education and engagement are crucial to ensure public health social measures are implemented to prevent disease transmission. More importantly, the role of transparent and decisive leadership has ensured achievement of set goals and sustained our response. Our gratitude to WHO and to all our supporting partners. We have, however, faced challenges including emergence of new variants that test our understanding of coronavirus and response mechanisms. We are currently working to expand our TB genomic sequencing to COVID-19 within the next week to fill this gap. Poor access to vaccine has limited our ability to bring things back to normal. But with the few 32,000 doses received so far, we have managed to vaccinate over 35,000 of our population and are ready to scale up rapidly. The COVID-19 pandemic has provided a wake-up call on our global interdependence to health threats. No country can control pandemics working in isolation. Taiwan is no exception. The Republic of China, Taiwan, has provided Eswatini with critical support in the response. They further brought capacity in country to manufacture high-quality surgical masks, augmenting our commercial space to export. Recently, Taiwan has also had to face significant challenges. Only through international cooperation can we realize early containment of the pandemic and leave no one behind. Let us therefore unite and work together to win this war against COVID-19. Your Excellency, I thank you.
Indvuna yetempilo lapha eveni laseSwatini lizinkosi efula yona inkulumo yayo ku-WHO General Assembly kubwathanga bethina lapha eveni laseSwatini asikhuluma ngetindzaba temkhuhlane i-COVID-19 simepi yaveta imvuna ukuthi sikhonile at least kwakha ifacility lapho khona phela at least kutongena imbhedlela engu-100 yabantfu labanawo umkhuhlane i-COVID-19 zakhona kutakhela indzawo lapho khona sitakhona khicitela khona indzaba ye-oxygen plant waveta ukuthi noma akhona some of the challenges ikakhulu kade ukuthi sive phela sifundziswe kabanti ngayo indzaba yemkhuhlane i-COVID-19 nekuthi phela live laseSwatini njengalamanye emave ikakhulukade elive kade ne-Africa they are facing a challenge yayo i-vaccine shortage njengoba siyakhumbula se-event lasendiya kunanasimo lesimatemane sikhona so kube nebulukhuni ukuthi emave emhlaba lefakhathi live laseSwatini kube melula kufula wona umjovo wokugomela umkhuhlane i-COVID-19 kanti njalo ngelanga njengoba sethembisile inhlangano kamhlaba yetempilo i-World Health Organization ivame kuniketa sona sithombe thengabe emhlabeni wonke nasikhuluma tona tindzaba temkhuhlane i-COVID-19 umhlaba wonke umepi right now let's take a look at WHO.
Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening. As you know, this week is the World Health Assembly, the annual meeting of nations to discuss common health challenges and agree on a common way forward. The range of issues being discussed is immense, from diabetes to malaria, disabilities, oral health, and much, much more. And of course, COVID-19 has been the focus of a lot of discussion. There has been broad consensus this week that equitable access to vaccines is essential for ending the COVID-19 pandemic. With over 3.5 million recorded deaths from COVID-19, an estimated loss of the global economy of $22 trillion and new variants compounding explosive outbreaks, this pandemic is far from over. At the World Health Assembly this week, there has been broad consensus that ensuring equitable access to vaccines is essential for ending the COVID-19 pandemic. In my opening remarks on Monday, I called on world leaders to support a massive push to vaccinate at least 10% of the population of every country by September and 30% by the end of this year. Our sprint to September goal means we must vaccinate at least 250 million more people in low and middle income countries, including all health workers and the most at-risk groups at the first priority. If countries immediately share doses with COVAX and if manufacturers prioritize COVAX, we can reach this target and save a lot of lives. Ultimately, the fastest way to bring this pandemic to an end is to dramatically increase global manufacturing of vaccines, tests, treatments, and other medical supplies, and ensure equitable access. A year ago, the President of Costa Rica, His Excellency Carlos Alvarado Quesada, and more than 40 heads of state joined WHO to form CTAP, the COVID-19 Technology Access Pool. CTAP draws on the experience of the Medicines Patent Pool and provides a single platform where innovators of COVID-19 health products can voluntarily share knowledge and technologies with quality-assured manufacturers. CTAP is based on a proven method. Voluntary, non-exclusive licenses issued through the Medicines Patent Pool have saved lives by scaling up manufacturing for treatments against HIV, TB, and other diseases. We welcome the interest expressed by several diagnostic manufacturers who are already in advanced discussions with CTAP to share their technology, and also from research institutions who are willing to share their knowledge through CTAP. But we need more developers to come forward and share life-saving tools so that we can ramp up production and expand access. Originator companies that contribute their knowledge to CTAP can quickly access the production capacity they need to manufacture enough for everyone, while collecting appropriate royalties. Contributions to CTAP are voluntary, transparent, and non-exclusive, allowing multiple qualified producers around the world to manufacture COVID-19 health products. Once agreements are signed, CTAP will support companies in the management of signed agreements for effective implementation and provide technical assistance to countries where needed. Once fully functional, CTAP assisting in the expansion of manufacturing could provide increased supply for countries and COVAX. Today, I'm honored to be joined by the thought leader behind CTAP, His Excellency Carlos Alvarado Quesada, President of Costa Rica. The President and I issued an open letter yesterday calling on all countries to support CTAP. Governments can play a lead role in creating incentives for industry to support our effort. Your Excellency, thank you for your leadership and welcome, and you have the floor.
Thank you very much, Dr. Tedros, and thank you for your leadership and also your team's leadership, not only a medical leadership, but a moral leadership that we need at this time against COVID-19. And also, thanks to all the ministers and national authorities that join us today. Costa Rica is proud to celebrate the first anniversary of the Solidarity Call to Action and its platform, the COVID Technology Access Pool, known as CTAP. I want to recognize the engagement and collaboration of 42 states that have jointly supported CTAP, and welcome Spain and the newest co-sponsor. I also want to thank Dr. Tedros again and the WHO team for their continued leadership and partnership. The CTAP was launched with the conviction of its potential to help the world to stop the pandemic, seeking for multilateral solutions to accelerate the development of the therapeutic tools needed to fight COVID-19 and to guarantee global access for diagnosis, therapeutics, and prevention, including vaccines. All of this by promoting innovation, removing barriers and facilitation open exchange of knowledge, intellectual property, and data on voluntary basis. Making this knowledge available through non-exclusive licenses and in a transparent manner can help release bottlenecks, scale up production, not only for vaccines, but for medicines and treatments, allowing production in different parts of the world. We have always known that only when everyone, everywhere, can have timely access to the health technologies for COVID-19 detection, prevention, treatment, and response, we will be able to fully recover from the pandemic. And CTAP can help us achieve that exactly. The shocking inequalities on the access to vaccines demand a change of practice. It is not acceptable that more than 50% of the globally available vaccines were used in only 5 countries that account for 50% of global GDP. Shamefully, low-income countries have received only 0.3 of the world doses. This week, together with leaders from the Latin American and Caribbean region, we made an urgent call to those countries that have excess doses or that have already vaccinated their population at risk to share those surpluses in an immediately and equitable way. But that is only one piece of the puzzle. We must also overcome the challenges generated by bilateral negotiations and property rights. For this reason, today we will also like to invite all of those who have not yet joined the CTAP to do so. Costa Rica will continue supporting a stronger architecture on pandemic preparedness and response, including a WHO treaty on the topic. We hope that the principles of CTAP will be a central part of a future action. The COVID-19 has imposed upon the world an enormous challenges, not only social but economic. We have lost millions of lives, millions of jobs and opportunities, and smiles. We have understood how vulnerable we are, but the crisis has also given us a chance to make things differently and work together in ways we had never done before. And hopefully, we will be able to overcome it in solidarity, cooperation, and strengthening the international pandemic response framework. Once again, thank you very much. Un saludo, mi amigo y mi hermano, Dr. Tedros.
Thank you so much, Hermano. Thank you, Your Excellency. Thank you so much for your leadership and for those great comments. I couldn't agree more that in this moment of acute need, we must utilize all solutions to boost manufacturing capacity. And the only way is cooperation. The only option is cooperation. And I like the way you said it. We lost millions of lives, millions of jobs, millions of smiles. It has affected the whole world. So thank you so much. Muchas gracias, hermano, for your leadership. Next, it gives me great pleasure to welcome the Honorable Arantxa González Laya, Spain's Minister for Foreign Affairs for the European Union and Cooperation. Arantxa, my sister, you have the floor.
Thank you very much, Tedros. It's a pleasure to join you and the President of Costa Rica in this important moment. If we are to defeat COVID, We need to exponentially increase the production of vaccines and ensure much faster distribution to those in need around the world. This is why we launched an initiative called Vaccines for All. We think we need to exploit fully all the flexibilities that exist within the rules of intellectual property worldwide. We think we need to increase exponentially the manufacturing by using unutilized capacity and transferring know-how and technology to produce. 3, we need to also ensure faster distribution to all corners of the world. And 4th and final, we should be capitalizing COVAX and sharing vaccines, especially those that have availability today. This is our vision for ensuring equitable access to vaccines, and because we like to preach with the example, we are here today to tell you that we have just decided to join CETAP, to join this initiative that will ensure the transfer of knowledge, technology and know-how to speed up the production of vaccines. We are proud to join the family that Costa Rica and others started building last year. Non-exclusive, transparent licenses are vital to increase production. And we do hope that by boosting CETAP in the coming months and transferring know-how and knowledge, complemented by all the flexibilities that exist within the rules of intellectual property rights, we can enable production worldwide, especially in developing countries. There, where production capacity today is a possibility but not a reality. We have always favored measures to facilitate universal access to medicines and treatments. We've done so, for instance, through our support to Unitate, also through our support to the medicine patent pool. We are now glad to see that the medicine patent pool and CETAP are working together. We are contributing substantively to CETAP, and this is where I'm very glad that the Vice President of the Spanish National Research Council, Jesus Marco, will also take part and explain the modalities for our engagement in CETAP. Finally, we think we must ensure greater synergies between CETAP ACTA, the initiative of which we are also a founding member and an active contributor. If we do so, we will have all the ingredients to win the battle against COVID. So thank you again.
Thank you. Muchas gracias, Professor. You're right that publicly funded research plays a key role in the development of health technologies, and in the midst of a pandemic, now is the moment to share them fairly. Next, we're joined by the Honorable Mariam Kitia, the Minister of Development Cooperation of Belgium. Minister Kitia, the floor is yours.
Mr. President, Mr. Director General, ladies and gentlemen, the past year we faced many issues of conscience as human beings. As office holders, we had to take up responsibility. Never have we mobilized so many resources in so little time. And I do not have to tell you, our safety and freedom depend on our willingness and capacity to provide that same safety and freedom to everyone around the world. No one is safe until everyone is safe. But there is a reality we cannot deny. Let us not forget we are in a pandemic for more than 1 year now. An unprecedented crisis requires unprecedented responses beyond business as usual. Solutions exist, but still are unused. A few countries have secured the majority of life-saving vaccines, much more than needed, and left billions of people behind. While the pandemic is not over and health systems continue to collapse. While according to UNICEF, only 43% of the world production capacity for approved vaccines is used. Ladies and gentlemen, we succeeded in developing vaccines at an unusual speed, but we failed to share life-saving COVID-19 related technology and knowledge and to speed up their production. So it is crystal clear. Our challenge is to provide more doses as soon as possible at an affordable price to be administered everywhere. And 1 year ago, the Belgian government signed the Solidarity Call for Action. We did so because we were convinced that the only way forward was by joining forces, government, organizations and industry together, with a clear public health object in mind, by putting self-interest aside while facing a common enemy. And today we are still convinced, more than ever. So as Minister of Development Cooperation, I take a strong commitment to further promote CTAP at national and international levels. And if we want to boost production capacity, knowledge and data need to be shared. And I will also continue to urge pharmaceutical companies and other stakeholders to consider CTAP at voluntary sharing of knowledge as an acceptable and viable solution. In Belgium, we recently organized a roundtable with public, private and academic actors bringing together expertise, know-how and technology. And with Team Europe, we are keen to support local manufacturing capacity of medical supplies and vaccines in Africa. So ladies and gentlemen, the first anniversary of the CTAP is a key moment. A key moment to develop a new business as usual. A key moment to show joint leadership. A key moment to prove, once again, that we are stronger together. Because the most effective vaccine in order to defeat this pandemic is not only what is in the syringe. No, the most effective vaccine is called solidarity. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Ms. Sanchez. And I understand that Argentina is going through a serious COVID-19 wave at the moment. And I agree with you that now is the moment where we pull out all the stops and do everything we can. Thank you again to all the speakers. As you have seen today, CTAP is backed by a significant number of country leaders, researchers and companies from around the world. Civil society organizations have also supported CTAP strongly, and I thank them for that. We're holding the door open for pharmaceutical companies that have become household names, although too few households have benefited from the life-saving tools they have developed. They control the IP that can save lives today, end this pandemic soon, and prevent future epidemics from spiraling out of control and undermining health, economies, and national security. The major gap is originator companies, but I believe that with the right political will and the right incentives, we can see an increase in collaboration and pooling that would help end this pandemic. I thank you, and Christian, back to you.
Thank you very much, Dr. Tedros. Thank you very much, all. With this, let me now open the floor to questions from the media. And if you want to raise your hand, please use the raise your hand icon on your screen. And when it's time, don't forget to unmute yourself. The first on my list is Agnes Pedrero from AFP. Agnes, please unmute yourself.
Good evening, everybody, and thank you for taking my question, which is on the COVID origin study. This week there have been growing calls from experts, but also from countries like US and European countries, asking WHO to launch quickly the second phase of the study. But there seems to be little progress on that matter, and we have been told this morning that WHO technical experts haven't made their recommendations so far. So given the importance of knowing the origin of the COVID for now, but also for the other pandemics, when do you expect to have those recommendations ready from the technical committee? And when we can expect to see a new deployment of experts in countries and maybe on China or other countries? Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Agnes, and we'll hand this to Dr. Mike Ryan.
It was rather difficult to understand your question, but I will attempt, and Maria can can help me along on this. We continue to work with the international team in looking at their recommendations from the first mission. We've engaged with member states since then, with a large number of member states, to seek their inputs into the next phase of the studies that are needed.
Junior's mum, is everything okay? I am okay, but Junior feels hot since last night. Don't worry. Just boil some herbs and he will be okay. I don't agree. We are talking about the life of a child. We must bring him to the hospital. Mum, the test was positive. The child has malaria. Give the medicine during 3 days according to the prescription. Did you understand? Yes, yes. During the COVID-19 pandemic, keep following all the preventative measures for the treatment of malaria. If you have a fever, seek a health centre. Always sleep under the treated net all year long. Help the health teams by opening your doors for spraying. Apidone is safe. SADC continues strong in the fight against malaria.
Malanga lamahlelo sehlelweni kusile breakfast show kunye lesibili lesikhathi manje sethula tindzaba tesibili tanomhla ekseni. Indvuna itekuvakasha netindzaba temvelo Moses Vilakati ithi bantfu labagembula ngalokwecile badzinga kusitwa kude bakuyekele lokhu. Kanti imvuna ithi umtsetfo losakhankanywa wekugembula i-Gaming Control Bill number 17 of 2019 utawucinisekisa ukuthi bantfu labagembula ngalokwecile bayasitakala. Imvuna ikusho lokhu nayivula umhlangano wesikolo wetimbunga ngalomtsetfo losakhankanywa.
Lo mtsetfo losakhankanywa wetekugembula, the Gaming Control Bill of 2019, utawumisa kusebenta kwemitsetfo lemine lebuke kusebenta kwetindzaba tekugembula lapha eveni. Le mitsetfo yi-Lotteries Act 1963, Licensing of Bookmakers and Taxation Act 1970, Casino Act 1963, kanye nesehluko sekucala nesesibili se-Crimes Act 1889. Indvuna yetekuvakasha netemvelo Moses Vilakati ithi le mitsetfo lekhona yetekugembula midzala kantsi nelive lilahlekelwa nayimali ngekungabi nemitsetfo lemisha. Indvuna ithi loku kungobe bantfu lapha eveni bagembula ngetebuchwephesha kulamanye emave bese kude lokusalela hulumende. Indvuna ithi lo mtsetfo losakhankanywa utawubuka nendzaba yekusita lababese bangena umkhono nesiphanga kuto tindzaba tekugembula bangasakhoni nekuyekela.
Kusendiwa le gambling loko kugembula kuphindze kube nalesinye tinkinga tekuthi kukhona labagcina seveli bangene la mithanjeni lento. Umuntu ukuthi nakuphela inyanga abuyele ekhaya ana zero atelutho ngoba sokuhlala lekugembuleni. So ke sibuka ke lokho ukuthi ke kufuna ukuthi kwenziwe njani kuze kusitakale labo bantu labo ngoba bafuna kusitwa.
Sihlalo welikomiti lelibuke kusebenta kwelitiko letekuvakasha endlini yabayisikhulu Isaac Makakula uthi lo mtsetfo utawubukela wonke wonke.
Funa nakukhulunywa ngegembula kunemitsetfo yakhona ngesisawu sikhanyiseleke. Ngibani ongagembula, ngibani ongagembule i-fair play iba njani kude nikuchithana lapha nalapha izinto status mhlambe sitakale ngato.
Umtsetfo utawuphinze wakhe nelibandla lelitawengamela tona tindzaba tekugembula lapha eveni. Etindzabeni ti-Eswatini TV kubika Themkosi Mavimbela namsimisi Lushaba kanye naMuzi Mkhonda Kalobamba.
Likomiti lelibuke kusebenta kwetimali tembuso eParliamente likutsatsa tiko letemisebenti lemikhulu nekutfutsa kutsi lilungise imigwaco yakuleli leminyenti lesesimeni lesikabi. Likomiti likusho lokhu ngesikhathi lelitiko livele mbikwalo.
Likomiti libuke kusebenta kwetimali tembuso eParliamente likhatsatekile kutsi imigwaco leminyenti yakuleli solo ayikho esimeni lesingiso. Lamalunga athi lelitiko litfole indlela lengiyo letakwenda kutsi lemgwaco ihlale isesimeni lesihle.
Lemgwaco ngiyeba soluyayibala but akawubali lo sikhofanele Nsalichi o Msoko Maloma hlathi khulu kuthi ngabe ukumapha amaplans akhe ukuthi kuyawube kwendeke khona sibanifakele impilo khona.
Indaba yema-bridge kade ne-General Alloys athatha isikhathi kwalungisa ngathi kunemigwaqo lebhizi angibekisa nje into specific naleli lapha ebuka. I don't know why it's taking so long ngathi
angathi controlling officer angasita njani kule migwaqo lemncane ukhuluma ngokugrader lokunye la grading kwalomgwaqo bagrader lomgwaqo bangafaki amapontsha kuphuma lamanzi grader thina kuthiwa ilambi grader so yo grader lethu kuvele ebhuku kufanele sidlala ngayo le mali ngoba nalina letulu xa uyomdlala enkulu kuyawasha.
Baphela lomkhulu etikolo letimsebenzi lemkhulu nekutfutsa Khangeziwe Mabuza uthi emetameni ukuthi imigwaqo yakuleli ihlale isesimeni lesingiso lelitiko selitawufaka litiyela i-alter pave single layer lohlobo lokufaka litiyela lelingemashumi kuphakama.
Sizama lokubuka ukuthi ngikuphi lokhu cost effective ukuthi sifake le mali kule litiyela nekuthi siqhubeke lokugradea kufike kuwasheke kuye embili. Yes, ku-introduce lenye element ye-maintenance emva kwesikhashana ukuthi sitawukhona ngoku-maintain sikubukile konke lokho sisakhulumisana nahulumeni.
Lomabhalane uthi imigwaqo leminye seyivele iqalile kulungiswa lokungileyo lesemakhaya naleyo leyakhiwe kusetshenziswa litiya lebuchwepheshe i-ProBase kanye naleyo lemkhulu kanti lemsebenzi ibhekeke ukuthi iqale kuphela kusuka ngenyanga yeNgci kuya ngenyanga yeNgongoni kulomnyaka losetulu. Inkampani yaka-Roads kanye ne-Inyathi banikwa imisebenzi yekulungisela imigwaqo. Inye inkampani ilungisa tifundza letimbili eTindzabente Eswatini TV kubika Fortune Dlangamandla kunabawethu sithole seParliamente.
Kuphakelwa kwemali lencane kunaleyo lesuke iceliwe kude kweneke imisebenzi lemikhulu lokufaka ikhathi kwakhiwa kwemigwaqo yelive ngiko lokwenda ukuthi uhulumende agcina sekade ikhanza abhadala imali lenyenti kunaleyo lomsebenzi botawendiwa ngayo kanti lokuvetwe kumabhalane lomkhulu etiko letimisebenzi lemikhulu nekutfutsa Khangeziwe Mabuza ngekhasi lelitiko livele mbeko likomiti libuke kusebenta kwetimali tembuso eParliamente.
Namsembuluko lithe malivela litiko letimisebenzi lemikhulu nekutfutsa embiko likomiti libuke kusebenta kwetimali tembuso eParliamente. Mabhalane olelitiko Khangeziwe Mabuza unike umbiko emalungeni naleli komiti ukuthi ingabe kuhamba kanjani kwakhiwa kwemigwaqo inhlangano sicunusa road kulokunye lakubalile Mabuza ukuthi kuba bede kwetimali letenele kuba nemthelela lomubi njengalokhu uhulumende ugcina sekabhadala imali lephinzaphenzekile kunaleyo bekazicela umsebenzi.
Sisubmite i-budget le above 600 million lesisebenzisa kokhema ema-invitations ama-bids ukuthi bo-contractor abatshengise interest basho ukuthi bangasakhela ngamalini kubuye lo mgwaqo ube ngilokhu lesithandzako nalokhu lasisebentela. Sikusubmithile ke loko e-Ministry of Finance ne-Economic Planning. Ngekubona kwabo sasho nokuthi sifisile thina ukuthi nasingathola imali shothi kungaba ngeminyaka lemibili itokoni project ukuthi iphele within 18 months. Lana siya enkingeni lelisuka kuyo bahlonishwa leyo ukuthi uthi wathi umsebenzi utakudlulela ube ngaka uthole lokungaka bese awusakhona ukuqeda ngoba le contract nawe uyikhipha awuyisayini besicelo uyisayina iphelele. So angathi bahlonishwa kodwa nje kulokufunda kwami lokuncane ngifikile eWorks ngilenye yaleti nkinga le siyayakha lenkinga ibe semanisala inamatheli Ministry of Works ngoba nangabe umsebenzi kusidwe 650 ngiyabekisa emalangeni over isikhathi lesikhathi bese uprovide 160 kusho ukuthi kahle hle lo msebenzi awendiwe over 4 years. And kulo 4 years kusho ukuthi wadablishile ama-cost ngoba you actually increased le lifespan yalo mgwaqo by double.
Lokunye lakuvetile Mabuza ukuthi makhambe kahle konke kuchubeka kwakho lo mgwaqo kubheke ukuthi kucale ngenyanga yengenyoni eminyakeni losetulu Tindzabeni Eswatini TV kubika Fortune Dlangamandla kunaba wethu Sithole seParliamente.
Inkantolo lenkulu seyinikete ummeli longnondobeko Precious Msibi ibhayile ecaleni lapho asolwa ukuthi wakhwabanisa imali yemumvu bekammelele. Lo mmeli usolakala ukuthi wakhwabanisa imali lengetulu kwa 1.5 million emalangeni. Lesicelo besembekwe lijaji John Magagula.
Lo mmeli longunondobeko Precious Msibi uboshwe khona kulenyanga ngemaphoyisa laphenya emacala ekukhwabanisa. Bekasolo agcinwe estation semaphoyisa eMbabane lokhu sekakhululwe ngebhayili. Icala labekwe lona lekukhwabanisa. Nondobeko usolakala ukuthi wakhwabanisa imali yabonisile Theodora Dlamini ngenhloso. Uthi wabonisile bekatfole imali lengetulu kwa 2.1 million emalangeni kulandzela ukuthi atfole ingoti emgwaqweni eveni leNingizimu Afrika. Kuthiwa Nondobeko akakhulumanga liciniso nakathi le mali ayingenanga ebhukwini lasebhange trust account lenkampani yebameli lebekayisebentela sukati Msibi attorneys. Emaphepha asenkantolo aveta ukuthi lesento sanondobeko sabanga ukuthi ibonisile lahlekelwe imali lengetulu kwa 1.5 million emalangeni. Kuthiwa lo msolwa wenda lokhu adi kahle ukuthi le mali yangena ebhukwini lasebhange lakhe trust account kanzi kwakufanele yengciswe iye kubonisile. Licala lelinye langahle abekwe lona Nondobeko lekuthi le mali lengetulu kwa 1.5 million emalangeni wayeba kubonisile. Lamacala kuthiwa wawenda emkhatsini wendlovulenkulu ngeminyaka wa 2016 nenyanga yakholwane ngeminyaka wa 2017. Emaphepheni akhe ekucela kutokela ngephandle Nondobeko uthi angeke ahlale angede enkantolo nakutawukhulunywa indzaba yakhe njengoba emaphoyisa wawabambisa nakasaphenya. Lo msolwa uthi angeke atsinzane nabufakazi kule ndzaba. Umsolwa utshele inkantolo ukuthi ungumfati lonebantwana labatsatfu labasebancane. Uthi nguye losebentako emndenini wakhe kanzi futhi unekugula lokutsite. Inkantolo ibese imniketa ibhayili imali lengu 50,000 emalangeni yathi akabhadale imali lengu 5,000 emalangeni bese uletha sibambiso lesingalingana imali lengu 45,000 emalangeni. Tindzabeni Eswatini TV kubika Themkosi Mavimbela enkantolo lenkulu.
Beka kungaboni ngeliso linye emkhathini welitiko letemisebenti lemikhulu nekutfutsa kanye mphathi weligalaji lahulumende Washington Khumalo. Ngekusho kwamabhalane lomkhulu kuleli tiko Khangeziwe Mabuza lokhu sekube nemthelela lomubi ekusebenteni kwematiko ahulumende.
Kungasebenziseni kahle emkhathini ngoba mabhalane belitiko letemisebenti lemikhulu nekutfutsa kanye nemphathi weligalaji lahulumende Washington Khumalo kwacala kuvela eminyakeni lophelile ngesikhathi lelitiko livele embiko lekomiti libuka kusebenta kwetimali tembuso eParliamente. Lokungqubutana kwalelitiko kanye naKhumalo kwabanga kuvalwa kwelibhuku lekusebenta laligalaji njengalokunyalo selingephansi kwalelitiko. Ngesikhathi ilitiko livele embiko lekomiti libuka kusebenta kwetimali tembuso eParliamente ilunga leParliamente lenkundla semtfonganeni Roy von Rakis litsanze kwati ukuthi kuliciniso yini ukuthi kude kusebenzisana lokuhle emkhathini kwematiko ahulumende kanye nemphathi weligalaji lahulumende Washington Khumalo. Mabuza utivumile letinsolo wathi nanabo bangilelitiko bede kusebenzisana lokuhle naKhumalo.
Kusesekhona lo mzoliswano lokhona ngoba na controlling officer uyambhalela DTM angaphenduleki. Lo mzoliswano sicela loku acknowledge ukuthi usesekhona kodwa siyathemba ukuthi kutawuhamba kuhle. Nema-ministries kuliqiniso bayabhala sikutholile ketshelo ukuthi vele kuba khona lokuthi singabambiseki.
Mabuza uchazela emalunga lelikomiti nangetindlela letinsha letikhona lengathi uhulumende ahlose kucedza kwebiwa kwemali yembuso.
So amikise kathini general bese yasiniketa le authority sesivakise cabinet ifike cabinet bese yasiniketa le sanction kusise singasayini. So nyalo kude vele contract noma ngabe incane yethenga ema-newspaper lawa daily. Sesivele sihambe nje leyo route before sithenga so nayo one of the control measures.
Khumalo bekathi angeke eParliament ukuthi iphendulela kuleti insolo tingasebenzisani kahle nematiko ahulumende etindzabeni te-Eswatini TV kubika Fortune Dlangamandla kunaba wethu sithole seParliament.
Live laseSwatini lisamele imiphumela yelicwaningo lokuthi ihlobo lemkhuhlane COVID-19 lilicale kubonakala eveni laseNdiya kuthi selikhona yini lapha eveni. Lokuvakala ngomcwaningo wetifo enhlanganweni yakamhlaba yetempilo iWorld Health Organization Dr. Kevin Makatsange lothi emathuba ekuhlobo lalomkhuhlane likhona lapha eveni manyenti.
Ngelisonto umengameli welive leNingizimu Afrika Cyril Ramaphosa umemetele kuqiniswa kwemigomo yalela live yekulwa nemkhuhlane iCovid-19. Lokhu kubangelwe ukuthi lo mkhuhlane sewucale kubhedvuka futhi kanzi lenye imbangela luhlobo lwalomkhuhlane lolwaqala kubonakala eveni leNdiya. Ucwaningo wetifo enhlanganweni yamhlabuhlangene yetempilo Dr. Kevin Makatsange uthi kungendeka loluhlobo lwalomkhuhlane lolaqala kutholakala eNdiya selukhona lapha eveni. Dr. Makatsange uthi lokhu kusho ngobe lomkhuhlane sowutholakele emaveni abomakhelwane naladvudane neleswatini lapha ekhathi South Africa, Mozambique kanye neZimbabwe.
And actually WHO supports actually the transportation of these samples. So we are waiting for the results. So those results will come either to confirm whether we have the variant in Eswatini or not. But this is a variant that is spreading very fast, and there might be chances that it's already in the country, since it's actually in South Africa. And looking at the traveling that takes place between Eswatini and South Africa, the chances and the risk is there. It's high that actually we might also end up actually having the variant in the country.
Even leNingizimu Afrika lomkhuhlane utholakele etifundeni letintsatfu letiyi Northwest, Northern Cape kanye neGauteng. Dr. Makatsange uthi kusamelwe imiphumela yalolucwaningo kuze kubonakale ukuthi lomkhuhlane ukhona mbamba yini lapha eSwatini. Tindzabeni teSwatini TV kubika Themkosi Mavimbela nginalungelele Makagula nambonga Dube eMbabane.
Ngalesihlanu kuleli viki bafundzi besikolo lesiphakeme semanzini Nazarene batawumelela sifundza seAfrika emgcitsolweni nomakhono iJunior Achievement Company of the Year lotawubanjwa ngetebuchwephesha kanalabafundzi bakha indlela yebuchwephesha yekulima tibhifo iSmart Mobile Garden.
Kwekucala ukuthi live laseSwatini lingenele lomgcotselwano esigabeni sekucotselana naletinye tifundza temhlaba. Bafundzi besikolo seNazarene bakha indlela yebuchwephesha yekulima tibhidvo letilinywa ngekhatsi endlini iMobile Garden leyakhelwe ukuthi kulinywe tibhidvo letilihlata letifaka ekhatsi ilettuce, spinach, herbs kanye necucumber. Labafundzi bahlabana emgcotselwaneni esifundzeni seAfrika kanti sebachubekele imbili bayogcotselana naletinye tifundza. Umchumanisi wenkampani iJunior Achievements Phesihle Mkhonda uthi banelithemba ukuthi batawubuya nayo lenkomishi labafundzi.
Ema-comments esesiwatholile from emajaji ale World Cup asho kona ukuthi nabo bebangayicabanga imvolo njengale. Ngakho bakhuthaza abantu banasonke isikhathi ukuthi abende tindvo letingakavami, tindvo mhlawumbe letawuthi noma tifika kulamanye mave tifike tibe nelisasasa lelisedulu. So siyathemba nje kakhulu ukuthi i-project yabantwana baseNazarene itawuchudzelana nabo, itawuya head on head with the other programs laphuma kulamanye ama-continents.
Imiphumela itawumenyetelwa ngemsombuluko etingudleni tekuchumana. Etindzabeni kubiyelungelele Makagula nombongwa Dube kamanzini.
Umphathi wenhlangano yesiphambano lesibovu kuleli Danja Nhlabathi uthi kusemgomeni wabo bayinhlangano ukuthi babambise sive lesibhekene tinkinga letibangwa tehlakalo letahlukahlukene emimangweni nekubambisa uhulumende etinhlelweni takhe tekusita sive.
Inhlangano yesiphambano lesibovu ibaphalali Eswatini Red Cross seyihlangene ehotel eHappy Valley ezulwini kutawubuketa ukuthi ngutiphi tinhlangothi lapho kungaqiniswa khona kude lusito lusheshe lufike esiveni. Umphathi walenhlangano Danja Nhlabathi uchaza kabanti.
Sihlangene ngekutotihlola ukuthi ingabe sinhlangano yesiphambano lesibovu kangwane silungele kangakanani kuresponda kuma-disasters noma tehlakalo letingaba khona eventa noma ngabe ngiluphi ihlobo. kusho ukuthi kulo mhlangano njengalokho sihlangene nje la sina labasisitako i-International Federation of Red Cross kanye na British Red Cross bona basisita virtually.
Mhlabathi uphinze waveta ukuthi le nhlangano seyifundzise emavolontiya langetulu kwa 600 latawusita sive ngekuhambisa imilayeto lengiyo lechamuka kubetempilo mayelana nemkhuhlane we-COVID-19 njengoba sekulungiselwa sigaba sesithafu salomkhuhlane.
Sinemavolontiya already lang 600 leswatrainile kokuthi alungele lesimo sekuthi siresponde nangabe kuyarespondwa nekubambisa uhulumende nje nakunathi tindzaba tekujova ngoba kunemilayeto lehlukahlukene abantu labayitholako.
Mhlabathi uthi kumcoka ukuthi bacinise tintsambo kude balungele noma ngabe ngutiphi tehlakalo eveni etindzabeni kubika nomalungelo jele nabawethu Sithole ezulwini.
Indvuna yenkundla yasembolonjeni Thulan Dlamini sevete kukhatsateka kwesive salenkundla mayelana kwenyiko kwetinombolo tebantfu labashiya emhlabeni ngekushayiswa timotolo emgwacweni losakhiwa losuka esiteki kwengce embolonjeni ubheke eBig Band kanti lokhu uvete nekuthi balinganiselwa kulabane bantfu labashile emhlabeni kulomgwaco ngenxa yokuthi bashayeli betimotolo basuke basebenzisa litubane lelisetulu nabasebenzisa lomgwaco.
Balinganiselwa kulabane bantfu lebasishiye emhlabeni labashayiswe timotolo emgwacweni losakhiwa losuka esiteki ubheke eBig Band kanti letimotolo tibashayisela endzaweni yasembolonjeni. Lokhu kuvakele ngendvuna yenkundla embolonjeni Thulan Dlamini levetile ukuthi sekucala kubakhatsata njengoba abashayeli betimotolo babonakala bagijimisa kakhulu.
Muhle kakhulu emva kwesikhathi lesidze kulimala timoto tebantfu tibabuyisela emvempilweni ngoba bomubi kakhulu kodwa ke nyalo umgwaqo semhle kakhulu timoto setigijima ngetubane lesetulu kakhulu sekulimala sive kakhulu. Bacela kubashayeli betimotolo ukuthi abashayele ngelitubane lisemthethweni. Akhona emasayini bafakile bemgwaqo nasingalandzela wona singaphepha nesive ke nasihamba nsambama siyacela ukuthi sibogcoka lokufanele lokutawenda kusashesha bonakale hayi gcoka lokumnyama ngoba lokhu kubangela ingoti kakhulu. Ngiphinze ngicele kuso sive sakithi ukuthi phela leti nghomo atisuke la mgwaqweni ngiyito letinye leti bangathi ingoti kakhulu tingomo nala mina tidzinge kula mgwaqweni nasebusuku phela ningomatilala ekhaya.
Njinela lomkhulu wetemgwaco etiko letemsebenzi lemkhulu nekuthutha Vincent Dlamini uthi indzaba yekuthi sive sibe ngilesiphephile lesiseceleni kwalomgwaco losakhiwa basetikwayo.
Siyayati lokho ukuthi kunalenkinga yekuthi timoto setiyagijima lapho so kusabukwa lokho ukuthi ingabe vele lingacontrolwa njani le speed ngentiwa njani ukuthi kube indzawo lephephile lokufaka ekhathi ke lokubuka ukuthi uhlobo luni lema speed lesingalifaka so ngoba phela sengakacedi so ke siyakubuka ngicabanga lokho ukuthi ukhona i-team yethu lesatha ikubuke lokho ibese seyiyakusebenza.
Ngesikhathi betindzaba talomsakato bahlanganisa lombiko bebasedama kuchumana nemchumaniso amaphoyisa nesive ephindile vilakati kuva ukuthi emaphoyisa angabakhutsata athini bashayeli betimotolo ngekuhlonipha timphawu temgwaco kanye naso sive. Etindzabeni kubika Thembelihle Magutshwa Thombe Ngivumkhosi Nzinisa na Themba Shabangu embolonjeni.
Dr. Kevin Makatsanga wenhlangano kamhlaba yetempilo i-World Health Organization uthi lo nyaka mhlabuhlangene ukhutsata imave ukuthi akhethe indzawo letisita abantfu labafise kuyekela kubhema lugwayi ema-quit clinics kulandzela ukuthi kuphumele ebaleni ukuthi bantfu labalinganiselwa ema-60 ekhulwini 60% bathi bafise kuyekela kubhema. Makatsanga ukusho lokhu ngelilanga lapho emave emhlaba akubha lisuku lekukhutsata abantfu ukuthi bayekele kubhema i-World No Tobacco Day.
Lilanga lamhlati nge-31 kulenyanga mhlabuhlangene ukubhala ilanga lekukhutsata abantu ukuthi bayekele kubhema ligwayi i-World No Tobacco Day. Lo nyaka leli langa ligujwa ngaphansi kwesicubulo lesithi Commit to Quit. Dr. Makatsange uthi mhlabhlangene ubone kufanele ukuthi lo nyaka agcugcutele bantfu ukuthi bente konke lokusemandleni ukuthi bayekele ukubhema ngesizatfu se-COVID-19 kanye naletinye tifo. Dr. Kevin uthi umbiko wa WHO uyaveta ukuthi 60% webantu emhlabeni sebaphumele ebaleni ukuthi bafuna kuyekela kubhema, kodwa bakhala ngekuthi kude tindzawo letikhona tekubasita kuyekela ligwayi. Uthi kungaleso sizatfu lo nyaka mhlabhlangene agcugcutela emave ukuthi akhe tindzawo tekusita labo lasebathethe sinqumo sekuyekela ema-quit clinics kude batawusitakala bangatikhanzi bangena esilingweni sekubuyela eligwayini.
But the problem is the unavailability of support structures and even what we call quit clinics to allow them to actually quit tobacco use. So this year, as we are actually commemorating the World Tobacco Day, we are encouraging countries and partners to put those measures in place that will help actually tobacco users to quit.
Chazile ukuthi kuyangani ukuthi indzaba yekubhema ligwayi bayihambele embili kundlula tshwala. Uthi kungoba emave amhlabhlangene asayina sivumelwano sekunciphisa kusetshenziswa kweligwayi i-WHO Framework Convention on Tobacco Control.
The challenge is we don't have such a treaty. So it becomes a bit difficult to control the use of alcohol. And also even to negotiate that treaty for alcohol, it becomes a bit tricky. Because as I highlighted, tobacco harms also the person next door. But alcohol use, when you use it, at times it just harms the person who is using it.
Ligwayi libulala abantu labangedulu kwesigidi lesisiphohlongo emhlabeni ngeminyaka. Kanti labasigidi nengcenye 1.2 million bantfu labalihoshe kulabo labalibhemako. Etindzabeni kubuyalungelela Magagula nambongwa Dube eMbabane.
Sihlalo welibandla letekutfutsa sive i-National Road Transport Council sihlangu Nhlabathi socwayise labo labalayisha abantwana besikolo ngetimotolo letincane ukuthi abawuyekele lo mkhuba ngoba baphula umthetho futhi lokho kufaka labamfana engotini kakhulukati ngoba letimotolo tabo tide imvumo yokulayisha abantwana.
Sihlalo welibandla letekutfutsa sive National Road Transport Council sihlangu Nhlabathi uthi timotolo letivumeleke ukuthi tilayishe abantwana ngemakhumbi ema-quantum kanye nama-7-seater lanemvumo yokulayisha abantwana besikolo hayi timotolo letincane.
Singaxwayisa nje sive kakhulu batali ukuthi asisiphela singumtali wathi ukuthi loyo mfana loyo lomfaka leyo moto umfaka engotini ngoba leyo mfana le moto leyo lehamba ayina permit ayina CF ayikahloleki ukuthi ngiyo vele efanele hambe emgwaqweni. Lokunye ke nasekwendeka ingozi le moto leyo seyidele umshwalense wetingodo. Singacela nje ukuthi batali nakufika umuntu athi utawulayishela abantwana uthi ukuthi emaphepha le moto akhe lawalayishela lawo bantwana. Nokusho ukuthi nangabe-ke siyabona sibatali ukuthi kokulayisha kude kahle sikhona thina simabandla e-transport abatala babuye kithi sitawukhulumisana tikhona timoto etingabalayisha abantwana. Kodwa njena siyakubona lokhu ngodi lokukhulu ukuthi abantwana balayisheka ngema-private cars. Umthathe imoto yakhe Honda Fit yakhe alayishe abantwana balishumi lakhathi ngokuthi ubalekela amaphoyisa asayatibopha letinkulu timoto. Lokho njena kubucala and siyacela futhi sikume nawe mtali mbuke lo mfana ukuthi uhamba ngani imoto ile nilofanele.
Nhlabathi ucela abatali ukuthi abende isiqiniseko ukuthi abantwana babo babagibelisa itimotweni letisemthethweni kulayisha abantwana besikolo kuvikela tinkinga. Etindzabeni kubengalokelela Magagula nambongwa Dube eMbabane.
Sesingena etindzabeni temidlalo. Inhlambi yakuleli lehamba embili simangadlamini ithi iyawubona umehluko emidlalweni yakhe asalungiselela imidlalo yema-Olympics. Dlamini bekangenele eminye imidlalo yokulungiselela eThekwini evenda bomakhelwane eNingizimu Afrika.
Simangadlamini kungunyando seNingizimu Afrika lapha tilungiselela khona imidlalo lemkhulu yema-Olympics leyo edlalelwa eTokyo, Japan enyangeni yaJulayi kulomnyaka. Dlamini bekangenelekele eminye imidlalo yokulungiselela eThekwini. Ngemva kwale midlalo Dlamini uthi uyajabula ngesikhathi lasitholile lesikhombisa ukuthi uba ngcono kepha-ke ufuna kuchubeka abe ngcono kakhulu kunaloko.
So ngende kahle kakhulu ku 50 free
53 ngishaya 26.93. So yeah, kusho kona ukuthi kujima kwami la South Africa kungisite kakhulu because ngisehlisile lesikhathi ngisuka ku 28 point something. So kujima kwami la South Africa kungisita kakhulu. So because sijima ekseni entsambama, and then the next day siya e-gym, then swimming the next day. So ngathi nangingachubeka maybe nangahlala maybe lenye inyanga ngamthola 24 ka-53 because that's my main event kulamalanga. So I'm focusing kule 53 because I wanna at least get a national record la kaNgwane, noma at least ngibe close to the qualifying time for ema-Olympics. Yeah.
Uphethe-ke ngako-ke Dlamini kuveta ukuthi usaqhubeka nekuyingenela leminye imidlalo yokulungiselela lapho eNingizimu Afrika lapho afise ukugcina sekathola isikhathi esingaphansi kwemizuzu lengama-24. Lobukela umsakazo we-Eswatini TV kutemidlalo ngiphathiswe Msibi eMbabane.
Malanga namahle sifika kanjalo kumaphethelweni adoti indzaba defu lebede sibili lomhla ekseni kulesikhathi manje siyayita itolo sibe siyachubeka nalolu hlelo kusile. Good morning.
Malangeni lamahle gama lami ngingisanziso ngwakamathebula sibambisene nembutho wembube kulwa nekutibulala nekubulalana kwesive. Sithi ke umuntu lodzinga lusito kuloko akakhone kuye emaphoyiseni noba akhulume nemuntu lamthembile. Sincenga sive ukuthi asiugweme lo mkhuba wekutibulala newekubulalana.
Eye on SADC, telling the African story from an African perspective. This is the only news program bringing you news, views, and interviews straight from the countries where it happened. Join me in Ndishishi Hamfungu as I take you on a journey across Southern Africa. That's on Eye on SADC, news of SADC from SADC.
Ngabukela ke washa umkhukhu every Sunday at 3 p.m.
In order to bring to life and to defeat and overcome the ongoing global pandemic coronavirus, food with a balanced diet plays a vital role. Eswatini TV brings to you a fresh season of Kudla Kwempilo to see how our farmers bring food to the nation, the challenges our farmers are facing in this pandemic, the struggle, the fight, the national lockdown, the intervention from the government to help our local farmers. Watch this first season of Kudla Kwempilo on Eswatini TV. Learn, be advised, and be inspired by local farmers and how they are making great changes in this era of COVID-19. Kudla Kwempilo, food for life.
When you choose your adventures, you do so with an open heart and a desire for the unexpected. You embark on journeys to discover new worlds full of wonder. You choose a path to awaken your senses, a world to make you look up and realize just how inspiring this life can be. Arrive and awaken your heart. Explore life in ways only thought possible in your dreams. Discover just how far you'll go to expand your understanding of life's greatest mysteries. There's just one place on this planet with so much to offer. Now is the time for you to have the royal experience in the kingdom.
Malanga lamahle, welcome back. So lesiqhubeka nalo luhlelo kusile breakfast show konguye lesibili. Sanimukela Maswatleni sanza kulela wona umsakazo wathi Titfombe nasetenkundleni futhi ekuxhumana siyabonga kakhulu ukuhlasana nathi. Sethembisile ukuthi lesikhathi lesi sidabe sinabo belibandla libutha umthelo wamabona kuze. So khona ke lobukelo nalelibandla Mr Mordecai Donga. Tobukisana singabe sukela ngeminyaka wa 1983. So lokwabeka lona mthetho weSwaziland Television Authority Act nga 1983. Kuthi phela sive seMaswati loyo lophethe yena mabona kuze wakhe noma lona letinsita tigutsha netimsita akhona phela kubona sithombe ngmabona kuze wakhe ugunyatwa ngumthetho lokhona lapha kule act kuthi kufuna ukuthi phela awubhadale umthelo wakhe wamabona kuze. So loke le mali emakhona lapho sitokuva sengabe in terms of compliance moving forward sithini nasikhuluma ngetindzaba tekutha umthelo wamabona kuze. Mr Donga, welcome to our show.
Sifusele mbukele ekhaya.
Sicale usinike maybe just feedback ye performance ikakhulu kade nasibuka tinyanga letendlulile.
Okay. No, asibonge njalo. Maybe we're just going to focus on the month of April. Yeah, looking at how people have been responding, in as far as coming forward to pay for their television licenses. Maybe let me state that whoever is in possession of a television device now and has not paid for their television license fees, they are in default, they are owing. And they should come forward and pay. So in the month of April, we had a very good response, in as far as those that were owing in television license fees were concerned. Remember, we've got a number of pay point centers, which include Eswatini Post Office. Post offices, spread around the country. Eswatini Imali, MTN Momo, mobile money, and of course our offices and our Eswatini Television, authority offices. Quite a number of people paid through the post offices. We have about 400 people that went to pay through the post offices.
Okay.
When we look at Eswatini Imali, in the month of April, we only had 2 people pay through Eswatini Imali, which is quite disappointing. Let me not say disappointing, but it's not as per our expectations. People haven't, seen the need and the benefit of using or paying for their television license fees using Eswatini Imali. Eswatini Mobile's Imali facility. So only 2 people paid, in the month of April. And then 402 paid, via Eswatini Post Office. And we had about 91 paying through MTN mobile money, which is quite a good number. Of course, you notice that with MTN mobile money, it's very popular, with the television licensees. They are using that facility quite a lot. MTN mobile money competes fairly with the post offices. So yes, we are actually encouraging our licensees to make use of these facilities. Any one of them, Eswatini mobile money, Eswatini MTN's mobile money, and Eswatini mobile's Imali services, the post offices. These are very good pay point centers which one can use to pay for their TV licenses and comply.
I think Mr Donga kuma trading licenses khona le compliance ihamba kanjani?
Okay, so every retailer that is trading in television devices is supposed to have, of course, the trading licenses. So a retailer without a trading license is actually in breach of the law, and upon inspection, and if that person or that retailer is found not to be in possession of a television device, he is likely to face the wrath of the law. Now, when we look at the number of towns around the country where we have retailers selling television devices, we notice an 88.8% compliance rate in Mbabane, okay, and then there's also an 83.3% compliance rate in Manzini. So Mbabane, Manzini, the compliance rate is quite fair. Maybe this is due to the proximity of these retailers to our television, project, like television license project offices. In Mbabane, it's just a walk around town in one day, and you are done. We have, however, a huge number of retailers that are in the Matapa Ezulwini corridor before Manzini that are really not complying.
Okay.
There's only 25% compliance rate within that.
It's quite low.
Yeah, which is very quite low within that corridor. Okay, so we are urging the retailers in that corridor to come forward, and pay for their television license fees. In Simunye, in Butleni, in Stegi, the compliance rate is also quite fair. On average, we have about 66.6 compliance rate in the country of retailers that are trading in television devices. For me, it's a low number, but in as far as compliance is concerned, it's quite an encouraging number. If you recall, this time last year, we're talking about 35% compliance rate, and now we're at 66.6%, which is quite encouraging, for the project and of course for the station to note that those that are trading in television devices have seen the need, to come forward and pay. But the compliance does not only end in a retailer having a television device. It goes further to that. Rather, having a television trading license, it goes further than that. If you have got a television trading license, there are some conditions that are attached to that trading license. The key conditions are that you are supposed to, upon selling your television device, you're supposed to collect the television license, collect the information of the television device that you are selling. By information, I mean who has bought the TV, the ID number, the full name, the full address, and the serial number of that television device. So those are also other compliance issues that we talk about, and such compliance is still at a very low level, in the sense that you discover that most retailers are licensed, but they are not collecting television license fees. In other words, they are not complying, with conditions, terms and conditions spelled out in the license that has been issued. I'm reminded, of one big retail store, which has for years been failing to they've been collecting television license fees but not remitting the license fees to the station, or remitting such license fees very late. What is happening is that they are head offices in South Africa. One purchases a television device here in Eswatini, pays for television license fees here in Eswatini, and you are told that, look, the money has got to come back from South Africa. So the money has got to live here, goes to South Africa, and then comes back to Eswatini. And that has got a very big effect on the revenue of the country. And I'm sure the authorities are going to look into that. But on our side, we wrote an intention to prosecute and an intention to suspend and all cancel the license for that particular retailer, and they responded, timeously and then settled the debt. But it's not the first time for that retailer to do that. They continue doing that. I think the next time they do it, we just cancel their license, to send like a clear message that we are serious, we really mean business somewhere. Yes.
I want to get this, Mr. Donga, ukuthi ukhuluma nga 25% le corridor yamathapha towards Manzini ungafiki kaManzini. Ukuthi engabe nifole ukuthi what is the main problem? 80% ngalana icishe inombolo enkudla nyanyana, overall 66%. Sithi what is the problem lekhona lapha kule corridor le?
Okay. It's just a matter of compliance nje. Good a problem, you know. It's just a matter of compliance, rather let me just say complacency by the you know the owners of the business to come forward and pay for their television license fees. It's just a matter of, you know, procrastinating and saying, look, I'll pay on this time, I'll pay on this time, and most of them, they run around to pay when they notice that the television license project is about to prosecute or summons have been issued to them, and they then realize that, oh, but this is serious business. Let us go forward and pay for our licenses.
Maybe the Munyo will argue, Mr. Tonga, ati most of the time the customers ngangabekisa ukuthi utakhanze thula umvuta na 5,000 simne ngifuna ukuthenga iTV, so ngiyitele mali ngetela for my TV license. So vele the retailer utavela athi no, buyisa wona 5,000 uphume ne TV sesitawuganga sobabili. How far kusebenta lenza bale yona lama retailers?
Yes, okay, it's happening a lot. It's happening a lot, and so for us as an office to try and curb that, there is a form that every retailer has got to have, and which retailer has got to then submit on a monthly basis to us. You know, it's called the retail compliance form. So a retailer in that form has got to complete and state the number of television devices that he has received, or that he has in stock for that particular month, that he has received for that particular month, and at the close of the month, he has to state, from this stock, I have so much remaining. That means I've sold so much, and this is the amount of money that I have remitted to the television license, you know, project. Yes. So those forms help us a lot to check if the retailers are complying or not, you know. And this is what has allowed us to come up with these statistics to see that, look, not most retailers are complying in as far as, you know, the terms and conditions spelled out in the license issued are concerned. Yeah.
So lo wabekwa lo mthetho nga 1983, Mr. Donga, the fees have been like this for a very long time. So sithini ayakhona kun sustain what is happening?
Okay. The fees have been there for more than 30 years. Actually, 180 is what's contained in the Act and Regulations of 1983, and they've never been reviewed. This is my personal opinion, because when it comes to sustainability, it's the station that has got to say so. But this is my personal opinion. I don't think 180 can sustain the station. 180 could sustain the station in 1983, but not in 2021. Yes, so we are making, you know, ways to have the fees reviewed, but of course it's not our call. Ours is just to talk to our principal, which is the television authority. And then, of course, they will take it forward to the board, and then the board will take it forward, maybe possibly to Parliament. So it's not something that can happen overnight. But of course, we've made our representations. I've been in discussions with the acting CEO on that. He's very much open with it. But we are not going to spell out a figure. You know, when we say, look, in South Africa, television license fees, I think it's around 280 per device. And we're still in 108. We're a very small economy, number one. Number two, we're still on 180. Something needs to be done. So we're trying as much as possible to ensure that the fees are reviewed, you know, not substantially, but reasonably, you know, for me and you to be able to still pay and of course, have value for our money and have the station give us better programs. Yeah.
Mr. Tonga, last time you were here, ngabuta kuthi ngubani lowa excuse eksenini nangakayibhadale i-TV license wabekisa ngekuthi ngilabamelele emave kuphela. Sithini ngiyakhona yini mina as umumvu maybe lo struggle shako ekhaya ngiye kuyolibandla and say yathi ukuthi ngingogo ngihlala ekhaya have mabona kuze nginaye isigujana wami but kulukhunyana mani ngeke ngibe nayo le mali njalo ngeminyaka.
Okay. You know, we have what the Act, of course, does talk of some exemptions, and those exemptions, they only relate to embassy staff. It ends there. But of course, we do exercise our discretion as an office. You know, there are some that we have given some exemption certificates. The elderly, like really the elderly that are not working and they're not doing anything. But you may discover that there's an elderly person who's got 3 television devices and a decoder. She or he is paying for. He's a DSTV subscriber on a monthly basis, paying say 380, and then they are coming to the office and saying we can't afford 180 per year for a television device. So that on its own doesn't really make sense, and we in most cases those are the things that we weigh, and we end up saying, but you are able to pay for DSTV on a monthly basis. You can, what will make you fail to pay for 180 only of a television device
Per year.
Yeah.
Ngifuna sicacise na ke Mr Donga singaphumi ekuthenini what happens now tokhanza ukuthi ngoba ngicaba ukuthi some of the complaints ngabona lethe abakhona ngabona ukuthi wami ngimsebenzisa as just a monitor angisebenzisi maybe kubukela anything that is important noma ingilimalele sengiyibekile nje lapha na DSTV nesikujana wami angisamsebenzisi sengimbekile lapha sithini kuleti inhlangothi letoke ingilahlekele angisayisebenzisi maybe inethinking kwendekani lapho kumnyaka uyaphela siyafika sigaba sa 31st December ukuthi ngisale ngibhadala umthelo wami mabona ukuthi.
Okay Sam, uma unumabona ukuthi umbekile lapha ya ungasamsebenzisi umgcinele. That's the question. And the Act says that any person found in possession, okay, so there's no way you
states
can,
the conditions of that device,
regardless of the condition of the device. Why should you keep a device that is obsolete? You know, there's no way you keep a device that's obsolete and for nothing and take space. Yeah, so that's neither here nor there. Our office, our inspectors, when they come to your home and find you in possession of a television device, they want a television license. That's what the Act is saying. Okay, so for one to say ngimbekile lapha ya ngimsebenzisi kumbe so feel, that will not apply. Why should you keep a device that is damaged, for example?
Siyathanda kubeka sisene mafridge akathe
badalele umbekela. Yes, but anyway, there is what we call lost, damaged, destroyed or stolen device form. So if your television device is damaged, is lost, stolen, contact our office. We'll give you the requisite form that will make us strike it out of the system.
Okay.
So that should our inspectors come and find you, you know, still keeping it mbekile for display purposes, you know, they'll be able to note, okay, but this device, it was recorded as, you know, as obsolete, and we may, in a way, you know, not charge you for that, but again, an obsolete device can be repaired. Okay, umabona ukuthi wakho yakhona ukufa bona bese uyamlungisisa uma somlungisile soyasebenza phela badala, you know, that's what we will require. In a word, Samu, this is a give and take kind of situation. You know, there can't be any TV license project office without the coordination and cooperation of Laban Bonke Makai. We appreciate the cooperation and the positive responses that we get. We are where we are, you know, because of the people there who are watching right now, and or because of those that are paying for their television devices. So what we are simply trying to say is that for us to remain compliant, let's keep engaging. Okay. If you have a problem, don't keep quiet with your problem. Contact our office. It's not really about prosecuting you or making you pay a fine, but it's about us reaching a compromise. And that is why we've got some, you know, some terms that we we enter into with those that are not of means, but are able to get money kancane. So we do agree, and we do agree on terms on how best can one extinguish their debts in as far as such kind of issues are concerned.
Before we go, Mr. Dunga, asingeneke kuma enforcement mechanisms ikakhulukazi against lama retailers.
Yes. We are hard on retailers. I think that's for want of a better word, we are hard on retailers, in the sense that when we started, we did talk about some retailers 5,000. You see that they've got 5,000, and I have I don't have the 180 for the TV, and they go ahead and say buy. So there is quite a number of retailers that are on our prosecution radar. Some have already been prosecuted. Not only retailers, the business community itself. Most of them they've been prosecuted, for want of compliance with the act. In as far as retailers are concerned, we are saying to them, we are just a call away. There is no need for them to then sell a television device and simply try to hide it. That's in breach of the law. Remember, the person selling has been appointed in terms of the law. Has been appointed by their bosses, and when they don't comply, it's the seller or the sales rep who becomes in trouble, because he or she is putting their boss company in trouble. So it's key that they comply. Thanks.
I wanna get this, Mr. Donga, ukuthi singabuki kakhulu ngalamadolobheni. Dikhona inhlelo moving forward ekuthenini siyabuka ukuthi lemakhaya ngeke ngahamba nami ngaye emakhaya, and then ngase ngiyadibutibutisa umthelo mabona ke ubhadele yini. Kwavela lokuthi hawu mosi ngizabhadala emadolobheni, mina iTV yami bangifikela nje mina la khaya, yebo imvole kanjalo. Dikhona inhlelo ukuthi just spread out siyele imimangweni kakhulu kade, and sibafundise why are they paying their TV licenses.
Somewhat dikhona leti inhlelo. I think before COVID, besihamba vele emimangweni, we would talk to the authorities there be, and they would give us a platform, to make presentations in as far as TV license is concerned. I'm reminded of a place in Simunye. Most people that were there did not know anything about television license, and most of them were saying they are paying for their television license fees in South Africa, because one, they don't have access to the airwaves of Eswatini TV. They can only tap and access from South Africa. But we did educate them, and I'm sure they did get the gist of what's required of them in as far as the law is concerned. We did compile a list of them, and they are in our system. They're paying. So such programs were there. But then COVID happened. So I think if it wasn't for COVID, we would have covered every corner of the nation. But we need to comply with the COVID regulations, and we need to, safeguard our staff and, of course, the general populace out there.
Sithini ke cause anikhoni kuya emakhaya due to COVID. Sithini ndawo khona kusikhothatha kanjani ukuthi sibhadale this year?
Okay. KBS is one of the platforms that we're using to reach out to the nation. We have got our Facebook page. We are on Instagram. We are using every social network that's available. We're also on WhatsApp. We also do make very good use of the Times, the Observer, and we're entering into an MOU with Hala Radio. I'm sure one of the days will come with them here, where we want to be able to showcase and broadcast most of our television license fee issues to the public. So those are the other platforms that we're trying to use, to reach out to the people out there as we possibly can.
Prosecutions are Kubega and blacklisting as well?
Kubega really won't stop.
Okay.
Yes, quite a number of people have been blacklisted.
Already?
Yes. Okay. Not blacklisted, sorry. The debtors list has been completed.
Okay.
And we are going to contact the particular individuals to advise them that, look, pay up, or we're going to blacklist you as from this date, because that's what the law requires. Before you
set a specific date.
Yes. Okay. Before you blacklist them, tell them that we're now submitting you for blacklisting. So pay up. If you don't, your name will be submitted. So we have compiled quite a number of individuals, and businesses that we are considering sending for blacklisting. Prosecutions are ongoing. Last week there were some matters in Hlangano. We are likely going to have some matters in Manzini, some matters in Babane. We've got a very hardworking prosecutions team that doesn't sit until people pay for their television license fees. Yes.
And then after this, Mr. Donga, can I some sort of a feedback from people who see this helps or just in just some sort of a feedback okay yabona ke lenza bayeke kuvela enkantolo iyasida ngoba nami sengithukile umthelo wamabona kuze sengiyabhadala
ikhona feedback siyayithola.
Okay.
Part of it is positive, part of it is negative.
Okay.
People are asking us why are we prosecuting them.
Yes,
yes, because you see, a previous conviction is not an easy thing for one to have.
Yeah.
And most of these that are prosecuted, you can tell that these people with 40 and below, and the elderly, they are complying. They make sure that they comply.
Oh, isalangalanga
gits nje, but 40s and downward.
Okay.
We are very, very hard to convince. It's born. So we but what we're trying, the feedback is coming through. Some are really saying they're encouraged, if we did not prosecute people, they were not going to be shaken. So it sends that message that should you not do this, you are likely to face the wrath of the law.
Okay.
Yeah. But we try as much as possible, Sam, to avoid prosecuting people. Normally we use prosecution as a last resort. Ungabona prosecute nje. Siyabe sesikhulume nawe sakhuluma nawe safika ekugcineni.
Okay.
Yes.
Mr. Donga, thank you so much ukuba nathi lo mhlekisane ehlelweni.
Thank you, Sam. Thanks Mbukela.
Malanga lamahle ngoMordekhai Donga lobukelo nalihlelo lekutha wona umthelo wamabona kutse lapha eVenda laseSwatini. Yagcizelela ke ukuthi maswati lamahle phela sukumeni ungazothi ivele sokukhanza ukuthi ivela embi kwenkantolo ngenxa nje ye180 emalangeni. Sethemba ukuthi uhlelo lalomuhla ngalesibili nelifokotele njengoba nathi sifokotela kakhulu ukuhlasana nani. Gciwane benelisuku loluhle nisale kahle.